I should get quite a bit of videoing done today, more or less like a 2-in-1 video, because I'm out in my new AquaTec Ottawa Pro for the first time. So I'm looking forward to this. Also, I have got my E-fin with me, so what I'm hoping to do is when I get down to East Farley and I turn around, I'm hoping to come back on E-power, electric power. So again, something to look forward to. Well, I'll tell you something straight out of the dock. This thing is fast. I was back paddling to come off the slipway and I completely lost control. I was going so quick, it just sort of threw me for a minute, but I'll get the hang of it. Well, as you can see, it's a murky old day. Doesn't know what to do, but it is still very early, so let's give it a chance. The water's like a mill pond, so no issues there. Wanted to give you a view of some of the absolutely stunning craft on the left hand bank here, and look at that house. Today's outing is approximately 9 miles, maybe 10 miles, so it's a sort of a moderate paddle. It's around about 4.2, 4.3 miles down to East Farley, and we'll be paddling through, literally right through Maidstone town centre. Then it really does become very rural again, very picturesque. This section can be relatively noisy, and at weekends, if you're on it, you do get a lot of what are they called, skips out, sort of racing. So it can be very, very busy on this section of river leading down to and through Maidstone. I've just been adjusting some of the kit on the kayak. I'm trying to work out where to put things, work my way around it, because obviously, well, as you probably know, I've got several cameras on here and chargers, dry bags, and it's a completely different type of kayak to my normal sit-in, open kayaks. There's slightly less space, but I'll get around that soon. And for those of you that got really keen eyes, paddle a lot, I was holding my paddle the wrong way up. Dear, dear, dear. New paddle, no idea. There's some new houseboats to the left here. Let's just show you them. Gives me a chance to see what the turning circle's like. Yeah, they're new since I last came out here. May actually belong to the same person. What a life, eh? Alright, onwards. It'll be interesting to see what sort of cruising speed we can get up here, so I'm just going to get up to my paddle speed off camera and see how well it's doing and tracking. Gliding nice and smooth. Certainly does glide. No idea what speed I'm doing, probably maybe 2.5 mile an hour at the moment. Lovely and peaceful at the moment. If I down paddle, should be able to hear the bird song. It's a very, very good time to get out on the water. It is a weekday. It's Thursday today. Nearly said Wednesday there, losing track. So you're not going to get an abundance of people out, although you may get families out later today because it is the school holidays, but maybe they're all rushing for the coast, I don't know. We'll see. Right, there's a narrowboat just coming out, so I've just got to have my wits about me for a moment and I'll bring you back. Yeah, he's turning to go upstream by the look of it. Has he got a bow thruster on that? Yeah. He's going upstream. I think they've got some 48-hour moorings along here. Not too sure on this section actually. I know further upstream I sort of know it an awful lot better. They've got quite a lot of 48-hour moorings, free moorings. Here he goes. Excuse the noise in the distance. We are just on the outskirts of the main town and there is quite a bit of building work going on the left hand bank. Looks like a building site there. So how am I finding the Ottawa Pro so far? Probably about a mile into the paddle. She's smooth. It's a nice paddle. It's an incredibly stable boat. I mean, getting in, it was just like stepping off the because rather than going on the slipway, I did actually go in on the platform at the side, and it was an absolute doddle. I mean, even with my bad knees, I just slipped in. It was literally so solid to actually step into, not step on, you know, step in and lower myself down. So yeah, very impressed. If I rock it from side to side, it's silly stable, which I like. Speed wise, I have not tried to race it down the river. It's now turning out to be a very, very hot day, and I'm more or less paddling upper body only anyway because of my problems with my knees, so it would be an unfair test. What I will say is it glides nicely. If you're paddling gently, you're probably paddling at round about 2 to 2.5 mile per hour, which is absolutely fine for my needs. It's smoother and it glides better than my Story Ranger, but then it's going to, because that's a hybrid kayak with the larger type side chambers. My glider, my Blue Wave glider, which is a 2-person, much longer than this. This is 12'8" and that is 15 feet 6 or 5, so it's considerably longer, slimmer, is much faster. It really does glide through the water faster. However, it's a lot less stable, so it's all to do with what you want. Now, I do believe I've not paddled the Blue Wave glider or that shape kayak in the single person version. I've only paddled my tandem, my 2-person. I do believe that the single is even more tippy, so, but I can't say I know personally, but I've heard that it is more tippy than the 2-person. But all in all, so far, I'm very impressed with this kayak. Well, we're now approaching the town centre, so what I'll do, I'll turn the camera around and give you a view of Maidstone town centre. You can probably hear the start of the traffic noise in the distance. Once we get underneath that railway bridge, I think that's John Lewis, the building directly in front. So it's quite crazy, because you literally paddle right through the main town, which is actually wonderful. The amount of times as a gas engineer I worked in Maidstone, going around the one-way system in the town and staring down at the river and wondering what it's like to be out on it. And these days I do tend to come down here a couple of times a year and paddle straight through the town. So yeah, it's lovely. Well, you can certainly hear the traffic build up now. You can probably even see it on the left hand side. What we do, we fork to the right here. A very, very wide section of river, and again, often weekends very busy. Not an issue. I've paddled out down here on a Saturday, and it can be quite enjoyable. You end up, it's more of a social. There's quite a lot of kayakers, rowers, paddle boarders and motor launches, and everyone's sort of just generally quite jolly, chatting and smiling, enjoying what they do. That's what it's all about. You're all out on the water, whether you're motorised or not, trying to enjoy yourself. So it's just nice to get on with people, isn't it? As you can see, there's it's called Fenwick's Walk, House of Fraser, not John Lewis, but all very much the same to me. I'm a man. I'm just sticking to the right bank for a change rather than the centre or the left hand. Just trying to keep away from the noise a little bit. Well, as you can see and hear, we're right in the centre of the town now. It's the main one-way to the left of me, and the bridge above. It literally is just one huge one-way system. Maidstone takes a bit of getting used to and working out, but as I said earlier, I've done a lot of work in the Maidstone and surrounding area, so I sort of got to know my way around the town quite well. There is, as you can see to the left there, there's a pathway, and it's quite low down, so you can actually get out the kayak there and have a rest, but I don't really want to rest in the middle of the main town with all that noise. I'd rather get through out to the sticks before I do that. Well, I nearly missed that. I was just paddling along, and if you look to the on my left here, there's a drive-through cafe. How novel's that? Might go there on the way back. We're now coming under Maidstone Old Bridge, and on the left-hand bank there, or side there, is the Archbishop's Palace, which, well, the name's relatively obvious, but what it was for was the Archbishops of Canterbury would often stop off there on their journey to and from London. Nice riverside bar to the right of me. Must be lovely on a summer's evening. And there's the Kentish lady, which we see on one of my videos, which I recorded the other week. She went past me. I can't remember what section I was doing. Probably the East Farley to Scenic Lock, I think it was. There she is on the left hand side. And there is the Archbishop's Palace. It's generally used for events now, weddings and events such as that. And from the actual main road, because you're on a one-way system, when you approach it from the front, it's very, very hard to miss. Although I have been stuck in traffic on that road, and if you look in, the grounds are absolutely beautiful. They're stunning, but if you blink, you'd miss it going through the town, because you're just basically in a one-way system full of traffic. That's us through Maidstone now, and you can see part of the Archbishop's Palace behind me now. It gets quite a bit quieter very shortly, and it will become very, very scenic and rural after about another half hour. We've still got quite a bit of road noise to go through, just in the distance, and houses to the left and right, but in about another quarter of a mile, half a mile, it really does sort of narrow down again and become more canalised, so it's as I like it. It's actually surprisingly quiet now. I think the last time I did paddle this section was on a Saturday, so I was probably picking up a fair bit more noise. Well, I'm enjoying the kayak. I'm having a few issues, but that's mainly with recording, because I need to go back to the drawing board about how I set up my cameras on this craft. It's completely different. It's got nothing to do with its worthiness on the water. It's purely that I've got a 10-litre dry bag, which I've now just loosely stowed behind me, which I normally have between my legs with my bits and bobs and bits of electrical equipment I feel that I need to get to more or less instantly, and I can't get that between my legs. Lovely little boathouse there to the left, and the gardens, weeping willows. It's absolutely lovely. The front of the house actually leads onto a main road, but these gardens are enormous. They're very, very long. So what they lose at the front, they gain at the back. Even the next house along, it's got its own launching point. Lovely summer house in the garden. Very nice indeed. Other than road noise and coming through a main town, which you're not going to move, I've had the river to myself basically. One narrow boat in front of me, which you see earlier, and that's it. So yeah, very, very pleasant. Sun keeps sticking its head out, but I'm actually quite happy with the cloud cover today, to be perfectly honest. It's much more pleasant a temperature. The houses and the flats on the left hand side here, left hand bank, have got some amazing views. I mean, this goes back to what I've said in previous videos. What you see from the river is completely different from what you can see from the road. I know the road that these houses, you know, are on, and it's just a busy main road, quite a busy road, you know, you're driving along and you just wouldn't give them a second look. Get to the back of the houses and it's completely different. I was actually trying to think of the last time I paddled down this section, and as I said earlier, it was a Saturday. It was in my Blue Wave glider, very, very hot day, and it was in 2021. I'm trying to think. I was literally about a month, I was getting excited. I remember talking on the video, or as I was paddling along, about my coming up trip to Cumbria and Scotland, and I think that was probably about 3 weeks after, which would have been about September, yeah, about September, October 2021. Yeah, that's shocking. You know, I sometimes wonder where the years go. I mean, as I was coming through Maidstone, I thought, oh yeah, you know, last year I was out on this bit, and it is literally not far off 2 years ago since I paddled this section. And there you go. Absolute mill pond conditions today, as you can see. A mirror image on the water, so perfect conditions for a paddle. I've got a slight breeze in my face, probably about a couple of miles an hour, which is very, very pleasant actually. Just cooling me off slightly, because I think it's around about 21 degrees at present. To the right of me, you've got the Medway towpath. So there is a path from Allington all the way to Tunbridge, or Tunbridge Slipway. It might jag in and out a bit, leaving the river now and again, but there is an actual walk all the way. We're actually a mile into the journey. There's 2 miles now to East Farley, so still got a way to go. As you can see on the right hand bank, there's lots of relatively new apartments, they call them these days, flats I call them, but apartments with the towpath in front of them and then the river. So yeah, quite a nice view. Got balconies. Imagine in the summer again, or it is the summer, but it's quite nice to sit out on them. What I've done, to alleviate the pain in my knees, which is permanent. It's a permanent ache when I'm not using them. In fact, it just dangled my feet over each side of the kayak. Feels really nice. They're elevated, stretched out. It does feel nice. That's something I can't do in the story because the side walls are too high. I can get my legs up, but I can't get them over the side. Oh, I love getting out on the paddle. I suppose I better put a few strokes in as I'm aiming towards the bank. We're very, very near leaving the town behind. That's it, feet back in, readjust. Yeah, we're very near leaving the town behind, about another 400 yards or so, and the river will narrow right down, and it'll just be fields and narrow boats all the way to East Farley. We've got some moorings to the left there, which I assume are 48-hour free moorings. And you can moor up just on the outskirts of Maidstone. You need your own plank, landing plank, but most people have got that. We don't know what that noise is. Let's have a listen. No idea. Drill, some sort of drill. So as you can see, still loads of houses on the left hand side. So we're still on the outskirts of the town. As well as nice scenery, you do see some crazy things on the river. If I just go to the left here, yeah, there's a dove house, and that looks like an abandoned piece of wasteland directly in front of me. You have some boats moored up and a dove house. Oh well. There's some more houses to the left hand side. Not a lot going on the right here. 1.5 miles to East Farley. I know that because I'm reading the signs on the towpath to the right of me. It's not because I'm that knowledgeable or clever or got GPS on me. I can't be doing with that today. I must admit, I keep threatening to, and I will do it once I think my knees are up to task. I keep threatening to walk the Medway towpath. I think they call it the Medway Trail. I'll probably just do it over 2 days, do a wild camp. Park up in Tunbridge and just walk all the way to Allington. And have to work out the logistics of getting a train back or what I'd have to do to get back. But yeah. Anyway, that's not going to be in the immediate future with the problems I got with my knees or lower back at the moment anyway, so it's just on the back burner. I honestly thought I'd see more people out this morning. I know I put in the water really early. But got a duck. Whoa, that's it. But it is 10 o'clock now. I thought more people would be making use of it, especially as the children are on holiday. Or is it that in the first couple of weeks of the school holiday, everybody dashes to get away to holiday camps and abroad? And when they're back, they start doing the sort of daily pursuits. I don't know. What do you think? As you can see, it's getting very picturesque now. Yeah. It's slowly leaving the town behind. And it's tree lined now. What a beautiful stretch. I'm finding the kayak seat, the Aquamarina high back, which to me isn't that high compared to my other seats. I'm finding it actually very comfortable. It's very comfortable on the backside because it's padded, and I've also put my gel cushion underneath. But I'm finding the back support ample, and I'm also finding that my buoyancy aid is not riding up at the back, which it can do on the other seats I've got. So yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with this seat so far. But yeah, I had a good gut feeling about it as soon as I put it in the other day. I showed it on the last video that this seat would actually work out quite well. So I think that's a good purchase. Look at this old steel boat here. Wow. Yeah, that's more like a barge. I think you can see what I mean about how it gets nice and quieter and more canalized. I mean, that is an absolute picture in front of me now. Beautiful trees, assortment of boats, and a mirror image off the water. I mean, what more can you ask for? That is absolutely stunning. You're just on the outskirts of the main town. You know what, as a singleton, I would absolutely love to live on something like that, even if it was a permanent mooring. I mean, you're right on the outskirts of a main town, but you wouldn't know it. The second one there, the blue one, looks like a tip. Got all sorts of junk on top and to the sides. I can see old washing machines. Whoa. Lots of butterfly, damselfly. To my right hand side, all busy. An array of old boats along here. They are live on boards. There is people living on them. I'm just gonna get over to the left and get in the shade a little bit. It's not good for filming, but it's good for me. Oh. A lovely stretch of river. I'm in one of those moods today where I just want to chill, so I keep down in paddle and just gliding along, but that's the beauty of it. You do what you want to do. The beauty of coming out on your own is you do what you want to do. If you're out with someone else, you might be a little bit governed by, you know, keeping up, but no, I'm quite happy to just stop every so often and have a look around. Oh. Whew. Absolutely no one about. I'm not complaining. I've got my knees up again, hence I'm having to raise the pedal high and I'm running water down my leg. Right, I think we've got about a mile now to East Farley. Just trying to look at the sign. Mile and a quarter. The towpath, really well signposted distances. And it's a mile to Maidstone. Back that way. Cracking morning. Sorry about this. Probably doesn't make good video, me just sitting here. Oh, I suppose we better talk more about the kayak, as I am supposed to be reviewing it. Yeah, like I said, yeah, please, it's not difficult to get used to. What has been more difficult is getting used to this paddle being shorter. It's lighter than my other ones, which are actually Ituit paddles that extend to literally 250 centimeters, so 250 centimeters. Very, very necessary in the days when I bought my Ituit 3, which is now called the Ituit 300 or whatever. They branded them, but it was the 3-person Ituit kayak because you had to get over the large side chambers. And when I had the, not an out of the box paddle, but I had an old paddle from someone else, some other craft, which was about 220 centimeters, it was rubbing on the material. I just wasn't paddling and I was getting soaked. I'm finding with this 230 centimeter paddle that if I just get slightly lazy, I do take in a bit of water, but no biggie. It's summer, so it doesn't really matter. But this wasn't that dear. I think these are about I'll show you the blades, about £35, and I actually got it on eBay as a return, not wanted, for £24 anyway. So this can become a spare paddle because I really do want a carbon fibre paddle and I want it at 240 minimum length. I just like the length, no matter what I'm paddling, I prefer it. So that will be probably my next investment. So yeah, kayak, all good. Does track very well, very, very slight left and right. I said earlier, stability, absolutely unbelievable stability. It has got secondary stability because it is beveled slightly, but it is just slightly, so you really can rock and roll this thing. Look, it's it's just, I can't call it solid as a rock, it's on water. It is very stable. I can't comment on the paddle because I haven't used it. I'm using my new H2O paddle, but I would recommend this H2O paddle as a reasonably good paddle. Not the lightest, I think it's 950 grams. My other paddle is 1100 grams, which you think, well, that's not a lot, but it is once you're on a 12-mile paddle and it's roasting hot. You'll be surprised how heavy a paddle can get in your hands over a lot of miles. Space in the kayak is absolutely ample. I've moved the seat forward because I've got the battery for the E-fin behind, which is round about depth, round about 6 inches. So I've moved the seat 6 inches forward, and I'm only 5'6", and my feet are extended out, are touching the front. I can literally, to the front of the cockpit, I can literally push off slightly the way I am now. I can actually bend my feet, and if I wedge my knees into the side of the kayak, I can start using a lot of lower body, but obviously, as I said, I've got knee issues at the moment, so I don't want to be doing that for too long, but I have tried it and it works quite well. So you can more or less brace your thighs to the side of the kayak and get additional power, so that's another plus. Can't do that in the Story Ranger because these side chambers are not inflated enough. They're basically inflated to 4.5 or 4 psi, so they're quite soft, so you're not really getting the push off of it. This thing is rock solid. I've inflated to 11 psi today, and it's absolutely solid as a draw, as tight as a drum. So it's got that advantage as well. You cannot really brace your knees in the glider because it's more canoe type. So when you're sitting in, although it's narrow, you can't bend your knees to the side or your thighs to the side, so you'd have to literally get thigh braces fitted, or you can get ones for inflatable kayaks now that you attach to the seat and bring them forward. But I'm not bothered with them. I think I'd find them slightly constricting with my other equipment that I have on the front of the kayak. There you go, I've angled the camera so you can see my feet. My feet are touching the front of the cockpit. In fact, they're slightly bent. So like I said, if I straighten my feet, it will bring my knees up. So if you're taking out the battery and you're putting the seat all the way back, you've got at least another 6 inches. So that's just to give you a rough idea of maybe if you're up to 5'10", 5'11", you'll find this very comfortable. Once you start hitting 6 foot, I'm not too sure. Sorry about the wind sock in the last shot. I was just trying to get a quick shot of my feet to just give you an idea of space in this cockpit. It's a very dirty black rain cloud straight ahead, as you can see. Absolutely filthy sky. Yeah, blue behind me. Might have to start thinking about getting my rain jacket out just in case. Everything's waterproof in the kayak except for the camera that I'm actually recording on, so I will have to switch off and put it away. In fact, it is raining, so I'll get back to you once it stops raining. It really doesn't know what it wants to do. It started to rain. I packed the camera away, got my rain jacket out, just went to put it on, and it stopped again. The sky is very, very black and threatening, but there you go. It's been a while since I've actually been caught in the rain, so makes a bit of a change. While we're on the subject of rain, I do always carry a rain jacket, or basically a rain kit. With the kayaking, I don't tend to carry like the trousers and the separate jacket. I find it too restricting and too awkward to put on. I carry a poncho, in this case a bright orange poncho. Now, although I tend to sort of dress to try and blend in a little bit with the environment, so you know, as I've often been seen when I'm out hiking, I'm wearing green, not camo, but that sort of like army green or greys or browns, things like that. When it comes to being on the water, peeing down a rain and very dark, I want to be seen, because obviously a lot of the time there is other people on the river. I have been caught out a few years ago, or a couple of years ago. I was out with one of my sons, and we had torrential rain and absolutely howling winds, and we were out there. There was a couple of motor launches following us up. We were wearing green ponchos. We got away with it because the kayak was bright orange, but I sort of thought about that, and we could hardly see in front of us. I thought to myself, no. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to being on the water, bright oranges, yellows, or things, or colours of that sort, so that you can be seen by other craft. Remember, you're in a tiny little bit of craft, yeah? It's hard to see you at the best of times. Right, it's raining again, so I'm approaching East Farley, so I'll probably get back to you at East Farley. The wind's picking up as well, so we've got rain and wind. Oh well, such is life. It's not actually raining that much, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to persevere. I'm not even going to put my coat on yet. I'm going to crack on, because I know East Farley is just around that bend. It could be that if it's going to rain really heavy, I might be able to get out of the water before it absolutely slashes down. Well, I've got some lovely Taylor's coffee here. Nice strong coffee, the bag type, which I've made up before I left, so it should still be hot. Because although it was pouring down the rain, it's not cold today. Oh, well, I'm hoping it brightens up a bit for our journey back up, or back downstream. But it seems as if the cloud is clearing now, so fingers crossed